Gordon, it's almost been a year. Do you know what?
What, since the pandemic started, you mean?
No, we got this. Yes, it's almost been a year. I remember about a year ago, we have a video. We said, during the pandemic, what the gong player can do. Remember that?
Kind of, yeah. What we were figuring out amongst the gong playing community, I'm sure we weren't alone, was how best to serve people when they're... many people around the world were starting to kind of experience the lockdowns.
Yeah.
Which we had no idea was going to last so long. But at that time we were thinking, well, we can't play the gong in public too much anymore. And people can't go out anymore. So what can we do?
Yes. Very soon after.
Well, what happened was that we were of course, the solution was to do something online. Everything moved online. Like gong bars were just part of that whole kind of movement. Everything went online. And it involved a whole new set of skills, a whole new kind of different perspective on how to approach offering sound therapeutic based gong bars in a really different way. And I was kind of doing some research and looking at what some early attempts people were doing. And then I got some requests, first of all, from a big corporate in London.
Big corporate,
I was in, we were here in Taiwan at the time, but people I'd had dealings with before said, can you do something for our workers who are all home working, like many people started doing home working, feeling isolated, and we think that your gong bars could help if you can do something online. So I thought, great.
That's the first.
That was the first.
And then the second.
And then another one, a rehab centre down on the south coast of England near where my home is in England, got in touch, and a place where I regularly used to do sound therapy sessions for the rehab inmates there.
Yes.
Now they were in kind of lockdown in their rehab centre, and so that was another request to do something online for them in that rehab centre. So that really got me thinking.
Yeah, and I know you spent weeks to find a solution for them, right?
Well, Yiling, as you know, it was a bit of trial and error, really. And I had certain skills that I felt that I could bring to the party, which I thought were really important, as you did too.
Yeah.
I mean, Yiling had been doing a lot of video work, so she knew how to make things. Because
I'm just a beginner.
there were kind of two things that were really different. Actually, a number of things that were different.
But three major things.
The thing that, to start with, the kind of experience that I had that I could bring to the party that I didn't use in normal gong bars. One was how to capture the sound well. It's so critical, and how to get it across onto these social media platforms, and it still sounds good, and how to encourage people not just to browse through on their mobile and just listen to the little speakers in their iPad, but to really prepare with headphones and smart speakers or whatever to get immersed in it. So it was kind of partly a learning curve, how to it wasn't, I mean, I knew how to record the gongs, but getting it across and uploaded or streamed onto the platforms, and which were the best platforms. So it was a lot of work to do.
Yes.
And of course, Eileen was always good at the visual stuff, and because that was another thing that I thought that was really important, that was very different to normal kind of public gong bars, was that the visual I always thought is really important. That it actually looks nice and it's not just boring, because I felt as though people were consuming online gong bars in a different way to normal gong bars.
Yes. And this is audio and video, and the most important, the core is doing a nice gong bass. The three things. You got to, the three different skill or technique. You got to,
And one thing, actually, I really noticed this the other week when we had what we call a gong salon here in our studio outside of Taipei, where we invited, this is the first time we've done this, and we've done many gong bars, online gong bars in the last year, but this was the first time that we actually invited some people over. We can do that here, folks. We're in Taiwan. We're very lucky to have a much less rigorous regime than lockdowns and everywhere else. But we invited like a small group of students and friends over, and we shot the video at the same time as them being here. And it really brought home to me how much we lack the energy flow from the people between the gongs and the players that we don't get when we're playing online. I was explaining this to Eileen this morning when we were talking about this. It's a bit like the same thing that a singer gets when they're singing in a concert or in a recording studio, or an actor in a theatre or in a TV or movie. It's a similar thing, that you have to get. That's another thing that we had to get over, and to kind of be aware that instead of having a group of people we were playing to, we had kind of the whole of the social media, potentially the whole of our social media platform, who could tune into us.
I got a question for you. You try many different platforms, and we kind of settled on YouTube and Facebook. And how about Zoom? Because millions people use Zoom. Why you didn't find out a solution for Zoom?
Zoom is and in media reports about how people cope with the lockdown, when they're meeting their friends and family, they use Zoom. When they're working from home and they're communicating with their employee, their company or whoever they work for, it's all Zoom meetings, Zoom this, Zoom that, Zoom the other. I mean, I have had an incredibly frustrating time trying to get the quality. You can get a visual. The visual is good. No problem. The visual is not too difficult. But the audio is, some people seem to be able to do it with the kinds of instruments we use. Some music teachers teaching the piano or the guitar or the violin
they can
do
Zoom
it
one-to-one.
On a one-to-one basis, seem to be able to have cracked it. Zoom, to give them some credit, have supposedly improved the audio reception through Zoom over the several months. But for me, I've done so many different tests and research, and I can tell you, folks, that it's inconsistent, Zoom. Some people, and I can tell you this because I've got five different devices, all it's tuned into Zoom. One will be good, two will be not too good, and two will be terrible.
How about we have another video? If viewers, if you leave the comments, you want to watch that video, please leave the message down below. I will ask Golden to explain on YouTube video to how to shoot the online gong bass. Basically 1, 2, 3, okay, but not here. I just want to summarize that the Zoom is not so far.
Facebook
Zoom,
and YouTube we find a good.
So far, Zoom is not good for the whole spectrum. Big gong.
There are other platforms that we haven't tried, which I think are probably quite good for different audiences. I think there's TikTok, which is for short and generally younger people.
And the next question for you is about, can you share some feedback for us, the testimonial?
I think this has been the most gratifying thing. I mean, very early on, we were getting some really lovely feedback. People who have been to, Yiling was getting feedback in Chinese, which I wasn't.
No, my Chinese group,
from her Chinese group, so she can tell you about that. I was getting feedback from English speakers, and particularly from people who've been to my gong bars in London or elsewhere in England, who were saying, this is just, I remember one of the very early ones where someone said, this is the future. She saw that the way that we had taken the trouble to make it a visual and experience and make the sound as good as we possibly could, and she could see that this was really going to be a valuable medium for gong bars. And then much more recently, I got somebody who had been, I didn't realise this, somebody who used to come to my gong bars in London, an American actually, who said, this has just been such a blessing to me over lockdown. She's now in sort of New York State or wherever she lives now. It's been such a blessing all through the lockdown. Your gong bars have been a great support for me. And it just really brought home to me how powerful these things can be.
And for my Chinese-speaking world, my audience is Chinese-speaking audience. And most of them, 95% of them, they don't have the real gong bass experience. So online gong bass is their first experience about gong. So their feedback is mainly they use their device at home. Although they didn't experience a real, live gong, but when they play the online gong bass, they still can feel the vibration.
The energy gets through.
Energy gets through. Some people feedback to me, they listen, they watch many times a week, and many times they feel touched, and they feel, is incredibly, you say, blessed.
And it's a therapeutic experience. I think this is like how we set out at the beginning, a year ago, as we started off this video, saying, how can we make a therapeutically valuable service work online? And every time we do an online gong bath, we learn something new, and it means that we can try something different and try something better. But that's been our goal, and it's so gratifying to get this feedback, to find that is what's happening.
So if you want to join us, please check the QR code here or see down below. I will put a link. So you can join us anytime you want to come into the online gong bass. Do whenever, wherever, whatever you can use the device.
And just before we close, I was going to say that I think that even when these lockdowns and the pandemic is over, I just think we've established, not just us, but gong players around the world have established a new art form, a new medium to express this for people who we can't invite to come to live gong bars. And I think it will continue on.
And we wish the pandemic will very soon
be over soon.
Be over soon, and wish you all well. We see you next time.
Bye for now.
Bye.